You know, it's not every day you see a successful company decide to tear down its own product and just start over from scratch. But that's exactly what we're digging into today. This is the story of how, and more importantly why, one company decided to completely reimagine what education could look like with AI.
And this quote, wow, it really just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? Think about it. 5 years of work, all that effort building a successful platform, and then, in less than a year, they threw out the playbook and rebuilt it. So you've got to ask, why? Why on earth would you risk it all when things were already working?
Well, the answer really gets down to a fundamental problem they saw emerging. They call it the gap in understanding. And this wasn't about fixing some bug or adding a new feature, it was about confronting a massive shift that was happening in the world all around us. And that's the absolute key to this whole story. The platform wasn't broken, not at all, but the world changed. The explosion in technology, especially with AI, suddenly opened up a whole new world of possibilities. And well, it also exposed a new kind of problem in education that their original platform just wasn't built to solve.
This slide just lays out the core conflict so perfectly. On one side, you've got this rocket ship of AI innovation. I mean, we can build educational tools faster and more powerfully than ever before. But on the other side, our actual ability to understand what each student needs, where they're really struggling, and why, that part hasn't kept up. And that gap, that divide, is getting wider every day.
And this is what makes the problem so real for anyone in education. It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? A teacher, an administrator, they see a student falling behind, and they ask that simple question, why? But the answers, the clues, they aren't in one place. They're scattered all over, hidden in a dozen different systems.
And here's exactly where all that fragmentation comes from. I mean, the data's all there, right? It's in the assignments, the test scores, the little bits of feedback from teachers, even in messages from parents. Every single piece of the puzzle exists. But without a way to connect all those pieces, you don't get a clear picture. You just get noise.
So, to solve this huge problem of scattered data and missing clarity, the team went right back to the drawing board. And what they built to finally bridge that gap is Classes 2.0.
Now, the key phrase to latch onto here is AI native. This isn't some old system with a few AI features kind of bolted on as an afterthought. No, this was designed from the ground up, from the very first line of code, with artificial intelligence at its core. And notice the goal. It's not just to manage learning. It's to truly understand the people involved, both the students and the teachers.
This journey really shows a clear evolution, a learning process. They started with an idea, what they call version 0, just to prove the vision was possible. Then version 1 actually brought real, tangible transformation to schools. But now, with version 2, the goal is something even bigger. To make that deep understanding scalable across a whole institution, adaptive to every single person, and ambient, which is a cool way of saying it's just always there, working quietly in the background, learning and connecting the dots for you.
So, how does it actually pull this off? How does it deliver on this big promise of deeper understanding? Well, it all comes down to 5 core innovations that work together like gears in a clock.
Okay, so here's the roadmap of their solution. It all starts with the knowledge graph, which connects all the data. Then, an adaptive taxonomy figures out the learning patterns. There's an assistant called CAI that works right where you do, while these intelligent agents analyze everything 24/7. And finally, and this is the big one, it all comes together in the action loop, which is all about turning those insights into actual results.
All right, first up is the knowledge graph. This is the direct answer to that scattered data problem we were talking about. So instead of a puzzle with all the pieces dumped on the floor, think of this as the master detective that finds every clue, every test score, every comment, all that teacher feedback, and connects it all into one single coherent story for every student.
Next, we have the adaptive taxonomy. And this is a really powerful idea. It's basically an AI system that's smart enough to go way beyond just looking at grades. It actually understands your curriculum, your standards, and then it automatically maps how a student's daily work, every little thing they do, is actually building towards mastering the big concepts. The third innovation is CAI, the class's AI assistant. And here's what's so brilliant about it. It meets educators where they already are. It works inside the tools they use every single day, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, even right inside a Google Doc.
So it turns all their routine feedback and observations into structured, useful insights without ever asking them to change their workflow or learn a new system. It's a total game changer.
Innovation number 4 is a set of what they call intelligent agents that are always working in the background. Think of them like a team of specialists. You've got the quality monitor, which is like a scout, constantly on the lookout for learning gaps. Then there's the support shield, which acts like a guardian, proactively watching for signs that a student might be in distress. And the pulse feed is like your daily intelligence briefing, giving you the key summaries you need to know what's going on.
Now, before we get to that 5th and final innovation that ties this whole thing together, it's really important to just take a step back and see the goal here. All these pieces, the graph, the taxonomy, the assistant, the agents, they're all building blocks for a future of learning that's based on something much deeper than just data.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important innovation of them all, this seamless action loop. This is the thing that connects all that data and all those amazing insights to real, tangible results right there in the classroom.
This quote is really the philosophy behind the entire platform. It says it all, right? What is the point of knowing a student is struggling if you can't actually do something about it? Data is only valuable when it empowers you to act.
And this is where the system closes that loop. The AI surfaces an insight. Hey, this student is really struggling with fractions, but it doesn't stop there. The platform immediately empowers the teacher to convert that insight into action, like creating a personalized assignment, suggesting a reflection activity, or a targeted intervention, all in just a couple of clicks right in the moment.
So when you put all of this together, what you get is a platform that isn't just about making things faster or more efficient. It's about making education smarter by connecting all those dots, and honestly, more human, by giving educators the deep understanding they need to truly support every single learner. This is a system that's really designed for the future.
Ultimately, this is the big idea that this whole story is built on. The race in education isn't about teaching faster or cramming in more content. The future is going to belong to the educators and the institutions who can understand their students on a profoundly deeper level.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Forget about the technology for just a second and ask yourself this. If you could truly, deeply understand the complete journey of every single student in your world, what would you change? What would suddenly become possible?